Welcome back. In the previous class, I was talking about the relationship between non-linear space and metric space, and we have seen that the following thing. Suppose we have some non-linear space, so here X is linear space together with this norm is a non-linear space, and suppose we have 2 points and x and y belongs to this linear space S, then one can think the quantity, and we have defined that quantity x minus y, and we have seen that this is nothing but metric, as the distance between x and y. So basically, whenever we are talking about the norm in some space, then we are talking about the length of vector. And when we are taking the difference of two quantity, and after that if we apply the norm, then basically we are talking about the distance between these two quantity x and y, where x provided both quantity should lie on the same linear space. And now with the add of this, so we are going to add the notion of this distance. So it is possible to show that with add of this notion of distance, and we are also telling proximity means nearness in the space, so that is called proximity. It is possible to define the notion of convergence. So main theme is that now we are going to talk about the notion of convergence in this particular space, notion of convergence in that particular in non-linear space setting. So in this way, we are going to talk about the, or we are going to take help of the metric to see the convergence in linear space. So in linear space, so we are going to talk about the convergence in linear space. So before going to the convergence analysis in non-linear space, first we are trying to understand the convergence of sequences of real number. So basically, if you see the space which contain just real number, and we can see that if I have some kind of real number, then it will automatically satisfy the property of vector addition and scalar multiplication, and I can able to define the notion of distance by absolute value. So somehow that is also satisfy the property of non-linear space as well as the metric space. So both properties satisfy. And again, I can talk about the distance between 2 points by taking the absolute value. So if I understood the convergence in case of the real space or just for a real number, then it is possible to extend the same kind of concept for the more generalized setting, that is non-linear space. So due to that reason, first I am going to talk about the convergence of sequences, and after defining the sequence I will tell you that why I have selected sequence, because somehow using sequence I can define several physical quantity, and I will talk in these kind of things on the after the defining this sequence. So let us start the convergence of sequence of real number, and this is the part of real analysis. So I have different so we have algebra, we have real analysis, we have functional analysis. So this part particularly where we are just talking about real numbers, that is part of real analysis. And when we will come same kind of notion for the non-linear space, where we are going to talk about the Banach space, Hilbert space, these kind of things. That is the notion of the functional analysis. That is part of the functional analysis. So please do not go to the name, just you try to understand the concept. So let us try to understand the concept of the sequence. So in order to save the time, I have written almost everything, and just I'm going to give you the explanation, that is in order to reduce the time of lecture. So a sequence of real number is nothing but a map from natural number is 1 2 3 to real number. So I have basically infinite number of natural number and infinite number of real number. So for each natural number I am assigning some kind of real number. So that map is called the sequence. In this way we are basically defining the sequence. So sequence of the real number, that is a map means, or you can also interpret this as a function. So either you can tell this as a map or this as a function, that doesn't matter. So this as a map of natural number to the R. Now if you associate each real number or each natural number to a real number, then basically I am talking like this. Here I am going to talk about, I am going to take about some kind of real number, and after that for each real number I am going to assign some kind of natural number there. So basically I have here, if you see this, then I have here, if you see that I have a real number and I am going to map this to a, I have natural number, I am going to map to a real number. In this way we are defining the sequence. And if you are going, if we will talk about the notion, so notion wise we are defining like this. So either you can denote like this, or you can able to denote like this. So both way, because you can see that in order to capture whole real line, at least I need infinite number of natural number. Due to that reason I am writing from n equal to 1 to infinity, and that is nothing but, also people are telling that as a index. Another common notion of sequence, people are also denoting like this. So in this way also one can denote the sequence. So if you see the literature, then people are either defining xn either by above bracket or using this kind of bracket. But actually, if you see the notion of set, then at that time also people are using this kind of symbol, and basically there exists certain difference between these two notions. So for example, if I have some this kind of notion, so here you can see that in this particular place I am going to denote, I am going to take some quantity that is 0 1 0 0 and this. So you can, in terms of set, you can able to interpret that these two set may contain infinite number of element, but that is just collection of two term, that is 0 1. So two arbitrary collection of 0 1. So these two set, I'm telling these two sets are somehow equal because that is same number of element, and basically order doesn't matter. So due to that reason, we can interpret this set and this set as in the same way. However, if you see the sequence, then first term of sequence is 0, after that 1 0 and 0, and here 1 0 0. So these two are totally different sequence. So from the set point of view, both are equal, but in the sequence point of view, that is not equal. Now let us, if you understood the definition of sequence, now let us come to the another quantity that is called subsequence. So before coming to the notion of subsequence, I am going to tell you the some application, then you are able to appreciate these kind of notion. So basically, what is importance of sequence in several engineering problems? So suppose try to take some simple example. So I am going to take the some simple example, and example I am going to take like this. Suppose that I have certain dynamical system, and that is defined like this. You can define like xk plus 1 equal to some axk. So this is the representation of discrete dynamical system, and here in this particular system, same like means uh, you can understand this system like this. So suppose that I have some autonomous system that is represented by differential equation x dot equal to ax, and here that is function of time. So if you are going to do some kind of approximation, and that approximation is called Euler approximation, and most of time whenever we are simulating this kind of equation using using computer, then some approximation comes into picture. So basically we are writing like this, that is x k plus 1 minus x k, and after that we are putting h. So here I am assuming that is 1, and that is ax k. So, or in more compact form, if you have confusion, then please write like this. We are writing thing like this way also. I have x k plus h, minus s k by h equal to a x k. So different we have different notion where h is the sampling time people are telling, and after that if you do this kind of, so this is generalization, but suppose if you are taking like this, if you are assuming sampling time h equal to 1, at that time I have something like xk plus 1, and this is nothing but a plus I is identity matrix into something like xk. So same kind of things I have taken, and this quantity you can just define like something a dash into x. Now suppose that if you are willing to do see the analysis of this particular dynamical system, because this is the discrete approximation of the continuous system. So at that time you have to start with some initial conditions. So suppose that if I will substitute k equal to 0, so after substituting k equal to 0 I will generate something x1, that is a dash into x0. So this is at first instant. Now you can see that at second instant, that is x2. So I am now initially I have continuous system, and after that I am seeing that system at some step. So if you have one dimensional, because I have here taken generalized system, but you can think like this. Suppose you have something like x t, and you are just able to see at this point, this point, this point, and distance between these are I am putting 1. Due to that reason I have x1 x2, and if you see x2, then in place of k you have to put 1, so that is x1. And again you can see that now this series, since you know x1, so that is like this. And if you do same kind of process, that is iteration, so you are able to generate some kind of term n, and here you can see that two time, then that is a square. So automatically if you do n time, then basically some quantity that is nothing but n, that is going to come into picture, and that is n, and after that x0. So here initially I have some kind of differential equation that is continuous, but in order to simulate something using computer, and whatever computer we are using, that is discrete computer, so somehow I have to convert continuous quantity into discrete quantity. At that time we have to take help of this kind of sequence. So here x1 is vector, so but if you have a scalar quantity, then you can interpret x1 r belongs to r only. Here basically x1 again belongs to Rn, but if I will put n equal to 1, then this belongs to R, this belongs to R, this belongs to R, and this is nothing but I have xt, and I am approximating this xt by some kind of things, that is I am telling k, and here k from 1 to infinite. So using infinite many term, I am going to see the behavior, and it is possible to show that if you are assuming that x1 belongs to R, means one dimensional. So this is one dimensional quantity, a dash power n is one dimensional. So if that is less than 1, if that is less than 1, if I assume that x0 belongs to R, just one dimensional, then what happens after very large time? I am going to tell that as k or n tending towards infinity, this particular sequence is tending towards the zero. So that is the this kind of things we are generalizing, or we are able to solve the equation in terms of the sequence. So this kind of problem is very general, because most of time for linear system we have solution, but for nonlinear differential equation we have no concrete way to solve. At that time our problem is little more general, and I am going to write that problem, statement of problem, such that you are able to appreciate the concept of the convergence. So now general problem is like this. So I am going to write the general problem. So generalized problem is given a smooth map fx of a vector space. I am assuming that here point-wise addition and point-wise scalar multiplication is satisfied to itself. Is whatever system that is mapping from same vector space to same vector space, and we have already seen that suppose if I will take x dot equal to fx, and here x belongs to Rn, and finally whatever x dot I am talking, that is again mapped to the same space. So due to that reason we have written this kind of sentence. And a starting vector means whatever initial condition. So here initial condition I am talking x0. Let, and at that time if you see the series, then see the sequence basically. So sequence I can write like this. Next one is ff xn minus 1, and similar way I can able to generalize this. So generalization is like this. Lastly I have f here n, so here n plus 1 and x0, and here I am assuming n equal to 1 to up to infinity. So somehow we are talking about the sequence, and our question, because most of time we are seeing that in above example also we are looking towards the same, we are seeing, try to see that that is going to converge somewhere or not, whatever sequence, because that is important. So basically we are stating the problem like this: does xn tending to z fast enough for every x0 near enough to a fixed point, and that fixed point is nothing but the solution. So in case of differential equation I have solution as a function. So same kind of things I am writing here, and this is possible, yes, if and only if z exists. So now we have to talk about the limit, because we are telling that after the large time instant, whatever iteration we are making, that is going to converge to some value or not. So automatically, if we talk about the convergence of sequence, then concept of limit comes into picture. So somehow the notion of distance is also gives us the idea of the limit. And you know that how to define limit in one dimensional space, but most of you may have confusion that how to define limit in the higher dimensional space. So using these kind of concept, we are able to see that how to define the limit on the higher dimensional space also. So similarly, now we understood the definition of this sequence. We know that in several engineering problems, whenever we are solving the differential equation, algebraic equation, these kind of concepts comes into picture. And after that, you can see one more quantity. Suppose that you have always seen that whenever we are defining set, then we are defining subset, that is the small collection of the same bigger class. Similarly, after defining the sequence, there are several advantages of this notion, that is called subsequence. So a subsequence of a sequence, because whenever we are defining subset, at that time we are already assuming that there exists certain kind of set. So similarly, whenever we are defining the subsequence, then we are assuming that there exists certain kind of sequence, and we are denoting now subsequence like this, in this way. So xn is the sequence, and I am going to take the kth term of that, so that is nk, where for each k, that is again belong to the natural number, we have nk, and we are putting this kind of condition: nk is less than nk plus 1 for all k. So in this way, in order to appreciate the concept of the subsequence, what we are assuming that for each k there exists certain kind of nk, and that is a strictly increasing function from the set of natural number to itself, because that is mapping from natural number to natural number, because in order to define sequence and subsequence, both natural number is required. But in order to talk about the subsequence, I again need the natural number, and that map to again another natural number, and after that that map to the real number. So here I am going to talk about one example. So I have taken this 1 by k square, and another sequence I am taking 1 by n. So it is possible to show that this particular 1 by k square, k tending towards 1 to infinity, is subsequence of this one, that is 1, and after that n tending towards. It is very pretty easy to check the this is the subsequence of this. Now I have already told you that after defining the sequence, we have converted differential equation in terms of sequence, we have converted algebraic equation in terms of sequence. After that, we have to talk about the convergence, because if we are able to understand the convergence, we are able to define the convergence, at that time we are able to get some kind of limiting point. So due to that reason, concept of convergence of sequence is very important. So now let us try to define the convergence, and here in order to define the convergence of sequence, I am going to state definition. So first you try to understand the definition, and after that we will see the application of this definition using some kind of example. So I am going to take again one sequence, and here I am assuming that whatever sequence I am going to consider, this sequence that is xn, that is mapping from the natural number to some kind of real number. So we are telling that it means that whatever space where we have defined the sequence, that is nothing but real number. So I am hoping that again after convergence of this sequence, this is going to converge to the real number again. So this is possible if for every epsilon there exists a natural number such that following relation will satisfy. So in this definition you can see that somehow this x I am interpreting as a fixed point, because we are talking the convergence with respect to this. So this is our fixed point, and this point is lie on the same space. So we are seeing the distance from the each term of sequence to that fixed point, and if that is less than epsilon for all n greater than n, it means that try to understand this particular phenomena using some kind of the plot. So basically we have one dimensional space. So whenever we have one dimensional space, then plotting everything is pretty easy. So I have one dimensional space now here, and suppose that you can make this kind of sequence 1 by n square. So first I will put 1. So basically I have 1 here. After that I will put 2. So n equal to 2. Then I have 1 by 4. So basically I have here. If you will put 3, then you have 1 by 9. So you are here. So what we are telling that, and if I am putting n equal to infinity or very large, then I am here. So basically this point, this origin is the fixed point now. Now if you create the distance from each sequence, then we are telling that suppose that you are creating some kind of, so this is the notion of ball. So here in one dimension, ball is nothing but some kind of straight line. So suppose that this ball I am denoting like this, because this is the ball. So ball is nothing but some kind of, ball is denoted by some kind of straight line here. So ball is denoted by the straight line. So let us write this ball as a some kind of straight line, straight, straight line. And I have, once after fixing this straight line, so I have a straight line, and I am assuming that the radius of this ball is epsilon. So you can see here that if n is greater than equal to 3, then whatever term that is going to come into picture, then that is going to fall inside this smaller ball only. That is the meaning of this, and the point x is called the limit of xn. So in this way we are defining the convergence of the sequence. So we can take any arbitrary sequence in one dimensional space, because real line we are talking about, and after that we are defining some number, natural number, n that is greater than equal to n such that this condition will satisfy, and this point x is called the limit of xn. So in this way we are able to generate the limit of any sequence also. So this is the concept of limit in one dimensional space. So you can see that in this definition n depends on the epsilon. So if epsilon is most of time, we are assuming that whatever epsilon I am going to take, that is very small. So if you are considering this kind of condition that epsilon is very small, so due to this n should be very large, because if you want to confirm yourself that you are going to remain very close to the this fixed point or equilibrium point, then you have to take more number of iteration. And using one example, I will tell you that what is relation between n and epsilon. So let us try to calculate the and epsilon. Before that, before going to take one example, means I am telling that this is the large. So common way to write convergence of xn to x, we are denoting like this: xn tending towards the x provided n tending towards infinity, and same kind of things we are interpreting in terms of limit also. And after that, we are also telling that a sequence that do not converge is said to be diverge, is said to be diverge. So that is obvious. If something is not converge, then we are telling that that is diverge. So diverge, meaning of diverging is either that will diverge to the plus infinity or minus infinity, or also they may oscillate between 2 points. So let us try to see the examples, and still I haven't calculated epsilon and delta ball. I will take one example and do that exercise, because that is very important. Then you are able to understand the next idea, that is the continuity as well as the stability also. So and if you have sequence like 1 by n, then limit is 0 similarly. So this kind of things you have already know, and this is simple because I have only one dimensional space, means I am dealing with just real number. Similarly, this sequence log n is diverges because we have this, and this sequence is oscillate between -1 to 1. Due to that reason, we are telling that this sequence is not a convergent sequence. Now let us try to see how to calculate epsilon and delta ball. So I will just solve one example in this lecture, and after that I will send you the exercise where several example of calculation of epsilon ball is given. And I hope that if you will do the practice, then you are able to understand that how to calculate epsilon ball or limit once the limit is provided. So let us start with one simple example. So I am going to take example like this. So I want to prove the following, because what I have observed that in place of the convergence of sequence, I can also interpret same result in terms of the limit. So I know that limit 1 by n square equal to 0. Now I am going to denote same kind of things in terms of n and epsilon. So what is our task? So our task is to consider a ar- arbitrary, because we are telling for every epsilon, so I can take any value of epsilon, and so that there exists a number and we are denoting that number n, which is function of epsilon, such that I have to prove n greater than equal to n implies 1 by n minus 0, this is limit point, and less than epsilon. So we have to show this. So in order to show this, let us proceed in backward direction. So first we will do the discussion, and after that I will tell you that how basically mathematics people are writing the formally they are writing the proof. So let us start with this. We are assuming that 1 by n square minus 0, and since n is positive, so and this is absolute value, so I can also able to write like this. So this implies that 1 by root under epsilon, and here now I have n. So if I assume that this number, big number n, that is 1 by root under epsilon, and if n is greater than n, then I am able to prove this 1 by n square minus 0 is less than epsilon. So this is our observation. Now let us write the formal proof of the same. So in order to write the formal proof, first I will create the space. So basically formal proof we are writing like this. So slowly I am introducing formal proof such that you are able to understand how basically people are writing the mathematical proof. So let epsilon greater than 0, and let n, and I am assuming n. So using backward calculation I have generated n. Then n greater than n implies n greater than 1 by epsilon, which implies that n square is greater than 1 by epsilon, and hence epsilon is greater than 1 by n square. And after that, due to this reason, thus n greater than n implies 1 by n square minus 0 less than epsilon, and this proof, because we understood that whenever we have this kind of things, then I can also write in terms of the limit, that limit 1 by n square equal to 0. So in this way one can generate the formal proof, or one can write the formal proof. And from here second point is also clear, that if you want to make this epsilon ball very small, then at that time we have to select very large value of n. So same kind of things comes into picture, and concept of limit we have already seen. Let us again revise the same thing. Here you can see that I can also interpret this, that common way to write the convergence xn to x as a limit xn tending towards x. So in our problem that is equal to 0. Due to that reason I have written n tending towards infinity, or most of time we are not writing limit, just sequence, that is equal to our problem 1 by n square, that is 0. So in similar way I have taken several example, and where we have defining the epsilon relation between epsilon and n. And particularly for this example I have taken very simple example. Due to that reason the relation is very easy, but if you are taking some complicated example, at that time calculation of the epsilon ball is not so straightforward. So due to that reason you have to do lot of practice in order to solve the value of n in terms of the epsilon. So till now what we have seen, that if I have some nonlinear differential equation or some algebraic equation, then I can interpret the solution, if that solution will exist, in terms of the sequence, and particularly that solution is nothing but some kind of limit. And how to interpret that limit? I can interpret in the term of the convergence of sequence. I have also introduced the notion of subsequence.